Here we go. We are live. Hello, hello. Um, Yay! We are back with another live after the podcast episode. This one honestly hit real hard today. Um, it's Friday and it's the end of the month, and a lot of things are kind of like wild, crazy, super kooky at our house. Um, Woke up, house is like like everything's like raining and it's gross outside. So it was like dark when we woke up this morning. Um, Kids aren't feeling 100%. We had a super crazy weekend last weekend. This weekend, another super crazy weekend of activities. I feel like because it's the end of the school year, all the things are like coming to an end. And that is where we are in life right now. So this morning, I am working on a computer thing and I get a text message. And I was like, who is logging into this program? Me. I was. I didn't even realize it. So, why am I doing a live on Fridays? Because it just, one, it made the most sense, which is why we are sticking to our Friday lives, even though I might be a hot mess. And because then if you aren't able to watch, you have time to watch over the weekend and you can comment, leave messages, and then we can get them covered next Friday. So maybe next Friday we make some drinks and enjoy the live together and, just celebrate. It's Friday. It will be May next month, which is absolutely insane. Like, can't wrap my head around that right now. So that's why we're doing lives on Fridays, because it is really fun to make me go crazy at the end of the school year. But I feel like it just makes sense. It is easy for you to watch later on, especially over the weekend, going from sport activity to different thing, like downtime in between. I like to keep things like kind of condensed. I don't like super long commentary or anything. So we try and keep these lives like under 30 minutes. 20 minutes, I feel like, is like our sweet spot. Like you and I kind of jive at like 20 minutes. So that's really where my focus is with these lives. And the reason why we are doing lives on Friday, because it just makes for a wonderful story. It really does. Life is crazy, and really there is no good time to, hop on when you have kids. I don't know, the YouTubers that do this, if you know of somebody who's like an expert at going live and like their kids are whatever, like please share who those people are so I can reach out and be like, "What are you doing so that you can do this with the kids and all the activities and all the things?" I would love to know. So here we go, talking about task timers today. Um, our podcast episode this week on organizing tune-ups was all about using task timers in order to reduce the overwhelm that comes with organizing. I am a huge fan of task timers. Oh, that's what I forgot. I realized I forgot something upstairs. I was like, I'm missing something. I know what it was. So in addition to the task timers that I listed in the podcast, which are really different ways of structuring up your day, or structuring up how you conquer a task. So the big one that I follow, and I talk about quite a bit, is the 15-minute task timer, where you use that for micro decluttering. You use that for really like any big task that you're like, okay, I am so overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start. And I have a story about this. So this week, I'm actually going to like sit back here so we can like chat for real. There we go. So this week, I had a long list of things on my to-do list. And it got to the point that I just became so stinking overwhelmed. Like, to the point that I was like stressing out, because I was like, I think I took on too much. I think I'm planning too much. I think the world around me just felt like it was caving in. If you know that feeling, let me know, because then this strategy could totally change your mindset. So I have a phenomenal assistant who then threw back at me, well, just time block it, Jessica. Just do what you say to do. So I was like, yeah, duh. Like, I should know this, but I don't, which is why I tell you these things. And then I rewatch my videos and I'm like, oh, I'm telling myself these things also, because it honestly is something that, like, it's so obvious. You just need somebody else to tell you these things. And I need to tell myself them constantly, obviously. Yes. So I was like, okay, I'm going to time block one task that I'm like, it's in my head that I can't get past. So I'm like, okay, I'm time blocking this task. And I time blocked it. So if you listen to the episode, I talk about how to time block. And I do also have a time blocking for mom workbook, which just breaks down how to time block and has a structured time block planner in there. You can use, it can go digital, so you can like digitally plan out that if that's your jam. I can also include that down below where you are watching this video. So I time blocked that task. And to time block, you set, I mean, specific, like the basic core of time blocking, you set 45 to 50 minutes to just on that one task. Then you give yourself like a 10-15 minute break. Do whatever you want, use bathroom, walk around, get drink, scroll on social, whatever it is, and then go back to the task for another X amount of time. For me, doing that one thing, I got basically all of the stuff I needed to get done that in my head was so overwhelming and so big, but I got it done in 50 minutes because it wasn't as big as I made it out in my head, which is why I'm such a huge fan of time blocking and why I'm such a big proponent of just setting a timer and just getting started. Because when you actually do those things, it just makes everything run smoother and your brain is able to process all of that so much better than it is if you don't set a timer and you just start stewing about all of the things you have to do. If you know what I'm talking about, write it in the comments and let me know, because I'm just dying to know if you have ever been there. I know I'm not the only one. I've had so many comments from email subscribers telling me, like, this is me. You get it. You understand. This is exactly where I am, especially on this particular topic of time blocking. Or there are like two other techniques. The Pomodoro technique, I believe is how you say it. I wrote it out when I was recording the episode. Hopefully I didn't butcher it in the entire episode. I fact checked myself and thought I said it right. That technique is, it's basically like extended time blocking is the best way to kind of describe that technique. I have used it occasionally. It works really well if you are studying or in school. But if you are in that sort of mindset where you kind of need the repeated pattern, that technique could easily work for you really well. And then the third technique is the 15-minute timer for organizing, which I'm a huge fan of. But I also wanted to give a couple other options too, if you just need to stick with the task. So maybe yes, you set the timer and you do it for 15 minutes, but then you don't do it the next day. And so you want to start creating habits with it. And one thing I love, it's an app called Streaks. And it is basically you just you set goals for yourself and then you check the box or the little timer thing. So, and you could change colors and it's super fun, but you check the little timer thing every time you complete the task. So you just don't want to break your streak. You don't want to break that for yourself. So if you're someone that likes to turn things into games, that is an amazing app that you could use to make sure that you continue to use your 15-minute timer. You continue to do time blocking on particular tasks or different things. Also, that's what I forgot to bring with me down it here in I'm not calling this my YouTube studio. Like, I think it's crazy that I can say like, "Oh, I have a studio." But this is like YouTube studio in our basement. Yay! Um, the second thing you could try, it is a calendar type of thing all on one sheet of paper. The months are dated with specific date like times, so that it says April, and then it has all of the numbered dates in April throughout the word April, and you color in each date as you do it. I use this for like when I'm working out, or if I want to like do like if I'm what's the word? When we were moving and I needed to unpack boxes, for me, I set like by the end, we moved in June. By August, I wanted to be fully set up in our house. So I used that because that gave me about 2 months to get myself like unpack boxes and everything. So every day I made sure I colored in the thing. I just copied like my workout one and then blew up those, well, it was like 2.5 months, and then just was like, get this done, get this done, get this done. And so that kept me on track as well. And so those like additional kind of like tricks you can play with your mind in order to stay on task and declutter like as you go. So I am a huge believer in like all of those things in order to reduce the organizing overwhelm, because things easily can like become much bigger in your head than they actually are, like to complete them. Like you can get that done very quickly. So removing the stress that you have around it by using a timer is going to help immensely. So this week we had one question that I felt like would totally work with our timer tasks. But it's not 100% related to timer tasks. So and this is kind of a big question. We've gone through this on numerous videos, lives, all of that stuff back in the day. So it is, do you need bins to organize? And the reason why I like this question is because I feel like when we feel like we have to have a bin or we have to have a container or something for our stuff, then we don't start the 15-minute timer because we feel like we need this one thing in order to start. Does that make sense? Like the progression of our thought process. There we go. The progression of our thought process is, well, I can't do my 15-minute timer because I don't have my bin. I can't get this spot organized because I don't have a container for that particular thing. I don't have a hooks. I don't have whatever. You get stumped with this idea that you need a thing in order to do the task. And so I wanted to talk about organizing without a bin, because you can do the 15-minute timer without a bin. You can do the time blocking and organizing without like the drawer organizers or the containers or whatever it is in your head that you feel like you must have in order to start. So with this, my specific example that I'm going to share, because this is what we did when we moved into our house. Yes, I had organizing things, but I didn't have all the organizing things. So I'm unpacking our kitchen, and our kitchen is not the same as our one that was in Chicago when we moved to Minnesota. So I set my timer and was like, okay, I have this much time to unpack all these boxes. I didn't have time to go run to the store to get like one drawer organizer or this or that. So I put all of the things in all of the bins in the drawers or cabinets where they belonged. Once all the boxes were done, I went back and made a list of all of the potential things that I might need in order to get organized. And what I found, I didn't need as much stuff as I thought in my head. Um, so you don't need that in order to get organized, to declutter, to do any of that, especially in the kitchen. Just start with the drawer or just take everything out and then put everything back where you think it belongs. Remove the stuff you don't use, you don't find helpful, beneficial, whatever. And then determine if you need a bin or a basket, but you don't need it to start. And you might also find like, I don't need a drawer organizer. This is just totally fine. I don't need a bin in the drawer because it's just creating more clutter. I don't need those clear containers in my pantry because we're just putting the boxes in front of them and it's just taking up space. So you probably don't need as many organizing products as you think. There are a lot of really amazing organizing influencers online that are very good at selling you the organizing products. Very good. Some even have TV shows. You don't need the stuff. Um, you don't, because in order to get organized, it's you get the things that you need. Do those things help? Yes, if you are using them for that purpose. If you are not using them for that purpose and you're just doing it because like, oh, this organizing influencer who I love said I need this thing, and you get it and it's just taking up space in your pantry or your kitchen or your closet, wherever it is, that it's not worth using. If you have a lot of jars and spices and things, the beautiful jars and canisters, they take up a lot of space in small pantries. That might not be the best option for you. You might be more suited for like bigger containers to hold all of the flowers and things if you use them more frequently. So back, oh my gosh, this was a long time ago. I think 2019, 2018. I was setting up a pantry for an in-home client when I was doing in-home organizing. She cooked constantly. Her in-laws lived with them and they did a lot of the cooking too. And they had so much flowers and spices and it was just amazing the amount of stuff they had in their pantry. She wanted it to look pretty, but then they also had drawers underneath their like cabinet. It was a walk-in pantry. I love this. We put up the pretty, like the colorful spices that they used all the time on the shelves. And then like a lot of the flowers, the additional spices that were like used in bulk. That's how I'll specify the difference between like how we sorted them. The jars, I mean, we had big jars. She had big shelves. We put the jars of her spices in canisters so that she could take out the tablespoon, the teaspoon, whatever she needed. When they needed the bulk stuff, like the bigger things, like the flowers and that kind of stuff, those we kept in drawers, just in the bag. And we found that just rolling them and using a seal, like, like a clip or something, just like an easy thing on top, worked because of how much they were using those products. So we didn't need anything like additional. We gave her pretty, but we also gave her functional. And so she didn't need to buy anything new. She had all of the things. What she needed was just things put together in specific locations so it was easy for everyone in the family to use. So that to me is my biggest piece of advice when it comes to organizing and bins. Like, organize your stuff, clean up everything, put it in its place, and then make the determination if you actually need a bin, if you actually need a lazy Susan, if you need drawer organizers, if you need all matching hangers. It all depends on your space. And once you actually get it done, you might not need to go out and get new hangers. Excuse excuse me, you might not have to go out and get new hangers. You might have enough hangers, but once you remove all the clothes that don't fit you, you don't like, don't match, you're never going to get fixed. Like once you remove all of that, you can find you have all the hangers that you need and you don't have to worry about it. So that is my 2 cents on the bin situation. Start with the timer, start removing things that don't work, you don't use. Also, you can use the task timers for things like, let's say you are you found a whole bunch of stuff in your kitchen, or I always use kitchen because there's so much stuff in the kitchen that is just so random. So you find things in the kitchen that belong other places. Set a 15-minute timer and grab, a laundry basket, throw all that stuff in, and then go put it in the spots where it belongs. Back again, when I was doing in-home organizing, one of my clients, 3 kids, both of the parents worked. They had a live-in au pair, and their kitchen had so much stuff. So we, like, one time, me and my organizing team grabbed all of the things that didn't belong in the kitchen, and we spent the 1 hour putting all of the other things away and like just where it goes everywhere else. And that made such a huge difference because it's just removing the things that don't belong in that space. So you can set a task timer just to do that. And you will feel so much more accomplished because you actually put the things away. It's a huge win when you actually do it and you like see, you're like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Woo. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about today on our live is a free challenge that I am hosting in May because next week is May. What? I personally like freaked out a little bit when I found out it was May. Also went into the like, why are we doing lives on a Friday when it's so crazy? But we're doing lives on Friday. Next Friday we will be back, same time, same channel. But this free challenge is called the Declutter Dash Challenge. We are going to spend 7 days decluttering for free. I am so excited about this challenge. I haven't hosted a challenge. Oh my gosh, it's been years. The last challenge I did was the Clear the Clutter challenge. It was so much fun. We did like junk drawers and stuff. It was like a really fun challenge. And so obviously I'm like starting lives again. I'm starting challenges again. I'm like, yes, let's do this. Let's bring back some of the old things that I was doing that were so much fun. So we are doing a free challenge. I have the link for the free challenge below where you're watching this video. Jump on in. Challenge starts May 14th. I think that's the date. Hold on. I'm going to tell you right now. Free challenge because I have it in my calendar. Wait, May. It is May 14th is our free challenge. Starts 7-day free declutter dash challenge. The goal is to declutter quickly, easily, and so you don't regret it. Because that's a huge theme that I've been seeing with people recently, that you are decluttering, but then you're like, oh, I got rid of something and I needed it. So thinking through that entire process of like how to declutter so you don't regret getting rid of something later on. I'm so excited about it. There's freebies. We're going to have lives. It's going to be so much fun. So make sure that you sign up completely free. And yeah, we're going to declutter and we're going to do it quickly and you're not going to regret it. So fun. So next week, our topic is, hold on. Wait, I don't even know. So next week, we're going to be live again at 2:00 on a Friday. I might have a drink because I might need it. It will be Friday. And we're just going to be chatting all about all the things. If you have any questions, put them below. I am thinking maybe even not questions specifically about the podcast topic. We can cover like any sort of questions you have because I've seen past couple of times I've gotten some questions that aren't related to the episode. So I will just start doing Q&As and answering questions live, in addition to kind of breaking down the podcast topic a little bit more and sharing any other exciting thing that we might get to cover and talk more about the Declutter Dash. So I will see you next week, 2 o'clock here, Friday. We're going to party it up, talk about organizing, decluttering, and I'll probably still be scattered. I'm going to be totally honest, but it's all good. I'll see you then. Bye.